For some people in Kodiak, yesterday's earthquake was a grim reminder of the Good Friday quake. That triggered a massive tsunami that killed 20 people around the island and did millions of dollars in damage.
KTV 11's Heather Hinsey met up with a woman who was there in 1964. She explains why this time around, everyone knew what to do.
Alaska's oldest building, the Baranov Museum in Kodiak, barely survived the 1964 earthquake and tsunami.
The water started rising slowly in the boat harbor.
Now it houses one of the state's best collections of photographs that documented the aftermath.
There was a cannery here, and this building was the top of this building was floating down by Sutlifs in the water there.
Alice Ryser was the museum's archivist for 30 years. She spent most of that time tracking down and compiling these pictures.
He took pictures before the tidal wave, and this picture here was what it looked like right down in front of this building, looking toward Near Island. And this is the after picture, where everything was gone out of the channel.
When she was 28 years old, Alice and her family moved from Cordova to Kodiak just 1 year before the 9.2 earthquake rocked the community. She was helping her pastor at church when it hit.
A lady that lived next door was on the road. She was down on her knees crying. It was an experience that nobody had ever gone through before.
With no real warning system, no one knew what to do.
This is the channel.
Alice says police drove around with megaphones telling them to get to higher ground.
We got some clothes, some coats for my kids. I have 3 children, and we headed up to the high school.
Alice says advancements in technology have made it easier to get information so people know how to respond.
It was a good drill to me yesterday because people will know now where to go, how fast to get there, and what to take.
These pictures are a reminder of the devastation the community faced 54 years ago.
Okay, this is looking toward the base.
Alice says they were lucky this latest tsunami warning didn't end up the same way. Still, her message is the same.
You just go, ask questions later, just get to high ground.
Lessons from the past that came into play for an entire community once again. In Kodiak, Heather Hinsey, KTVA 11 News.
The destruction to Kodiak during the '64 quake was estimated at $23 million. The city manager says so far the only reports of damage from this latest quake are a few new cracks to the fire station. He says the building is safe to occupy, but they're still assessing the extent of the damage.